Good morning, colleagues. Welcome to our lecture kit on COVID-proofing our homes and workplaces. This is Rondel Melendez Paraiso, your DRRM focal person. This lecture is contextualized for BukSU employees who are not attending webinars like our utility personnel, office clerks, and even our security guards. I will try to simplify it to awaken your disaster imagination and common sense. I got this information from subject matter experts from an exclusive group of survivalists and preppers in the person of Lieutenant Commander Ferdinand Juan and Dr. Ted Isquera. Some of the information that I am going to share with you are taken from DOH, WHO, and CDC. Some are personal experiences of COVID survivors. Some are product of my wild imagination. When I think of disasters, I always think of worst case scenario. And of course, some are plain common sense. But before we're going to start, let us discuss some basic concepts before we discuss about COVID-proofing our homes and our workplaces. Our mobility is limited, yet there are places that we do not count or mention during case investigations and contact tracing. These are the in-betweens. These are locations where we interact with people whom we have not profiled. Profiled meaning you have no idea where they had been, who they were with, like the tindera, tiglimpyo sa himbis sa isda, tigslay sa karne, or tighatag sa sukli. Because it did not come to your mind that COVID might be in these places, you become complacent. Complacency kills. Complacency means kumpiyansa. What are the expressions of complacency that we hear from persons? One, ilanat ralagdimi, maulian rako sa biogesic. Second, kadyot raman ko nag-istorya, kadyot rako nagtangtang og mas. And third, walay COVID sa bukidoy. These statements are not new. We hear this from friends, colleagues, and family members. How does the virus spread? COVID-19 mainly spreads from person to person, but it can also be left on objects and surfaces like buttons of the elevator, buttons of your gadgets or digital devices, doorknobs, tissue, even pens. So if you touch something contaminated and then touch your face or another's face, you might all fall ill. Let us simplify this with a little visualization. You in the workplace interacts with a compromised colleague, through talking, eating together, meeting at hallways, or borrow cups, coffee cups, pens, or share office tools, will surely acquire the virus. When you get home, you will compromise the whole family. So how long does this virus survive on surfaces? Let me emphasize this. So how long does the virus survive on surfaces? Paper and tissue paper, 3 hours. Coin, specifically copper, 4 hours. Cardboard, 24 hours. Wood, 2 days. Cloth, 2 days. Steel, 2 to 3 days. Plastic, that's 3 days. Glass, 4 days. Money, paper money, 4 days. And outside of surgical mask is 7 days. Let me emphasize this. Let's start with paper and tissue paper. When we say paper, we mean documents that we transfer from one office to another. That's 3 hours. The virus can survive on those documents for 3 hours. Tissue paper. Where do we find this tissue paper? Where do we find this? In our shared comfort rooms or from the table of your coworker. Na imong gapangayon. Another is cloth. The virus can survive on your cortina, clothes you wear, or sofa covers. Steel and plastic from 2 to 3 days. What are these steel and plastic objects like handlebars of Motorella and Multicam? doorknobs of cars, bars and chairs, plastic containers of your Shopee and Lazada delivery. Oh, plastic na kauban. Ay, sorry, wait lang. Money for 4 days. No? Your paper bill. Who does not handle money? All of us handles money. Do you spray on money? No, you don't. Do you disinfect it under the heat of the sun? No, you do not have time for it. Do you put it under UV light? No, you don't. Outside of surgical masks, the virus can stay for 7 days. Do you touch the outside surface of the mask? Of course. What are your reasons? First, nahiwi. Second, gilok. Another, it's very uncomfortable. So these are the number of reasons why you move or you touch the outside surface of the mask. It's September. It's the bear month. Christmas is already in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, so is COVID. It has invaded our homes and our workplaces. We have lost loved ones, friends, and our colleagues. So if you ask, Sir, pero saan mahuman ang COVID? COVID-19, like any virus in human history, is self-regulating. Otherwise, humanity would have been extinct during the bubonic plague or the Spanish flu. What do I mean? The virus will eventually die if it cannot transfer to another person. If we reach that level of herd immunity that the virus cannot transfer to another human being, the pandemic will end. So the answer to that is look at the people around you, look at your colleagues, look at your family members. What you see will tell you how far are we from reaching the end of this pandemic. The new variant is an airborne disease. Virus is in the air. If you look at the picture, it shows how the saliva in the form of droplets is projected from our mouth. Abi nato na ang laway are the visible droplets showered by our teachers during class lectures. The aerosol, these are extremely small solid particles or very small liquid droplets are suspended in the atmosphere. These are classified into three. At the left side column, you can see that these are large droplets, no? Less than 100 microns, but actually you cannot see them, no? The measurement used is micromillimeter. That's 10 to the power of -3. Now, when these are projected from the mouth, it reaches around 0 to 2 meters. This is your distance between every person. Last year, we were always reminded to at least maintain a 2-meter distance from another person so that you will not be compromised from the virus. But in the recent study, there are particles smaller than the droplets. These particles are less than 50 microns, and these smaller particles would fly 2 to 4 meters away from the source. Just consider your duha ka dupa or tulo ka dupa. And you will be reached by the particles. And there are still smaller droplets, no? Things that are not visible to our naked eye. They are smaller than 5 microns. They are called droplet nuclei or nuclei. And these droplets can fly not less than 10 meters. That's quite far. What's the difference between a droplet transmission and an airborne transmission? In a droplet transmission, when a person coughs or sneezes, it can spread droplets of saliva and mucus. No? That's where they spread the virus. That's how they spread the virus. In an airborne transmission, the tiny particles are suspended in the air. No? At the lower part of the picture, it shows you the difference of size between a particle that is less than 5 microns and the diameter of your hair. Let us magnify this part of the presentation. Let's differentiate the size of the droplet versus the size of the human hair. Now, do you think that the virus na nakasakay ng 5 microns, less than 5 microns particle, can stick to your hair? The answer is yes. When your hair is wet, when your hair is oily, definitely those tiny particles will stick to your hair. And do you touch your hair? Of course. Every now and then, you touch your hair and you touch your face. So, what does it mean? These suspended particles can stick to your hair, on your clothes, or on the things you have, like bags, cell phones, jewelries. So, where do we start? We will start while you prepare for work. Do not allow your hair touch your face. No? Meaning to say, when you tie your ponytail, see to it that none of your hair touches your nose or your mouth or anything closer to it. Cover your facial hair or shave them. Okay, based on our previous slide, it tells us that the tiniest particles can stick to facial hair. Wear clothes with shorter sleeves. Avoid wearing neckties. I know we do not wear neckties in Bukidnon State University. Refrain from wearing a scarf. When these clothes touch surfaces, especially when you use them as pot holders to open doorknobs, handlebars, these items become contaminated. You might think, grabe said me, uy, no? Take note, the original ideas from these lectures are die-hard preppers. These people are very meticulous in self-preservation and survival. For those who are using public utility vehicles like motorella, bus, and multicabs, you may consider wearing several sets of clothes when reporting to work. Probably your first set of clothes are your street clothes. Okay na kaya, no? But this is the kind of mindset that ensures that you do not give any chance for the virus to contaminate your clothes, which you will bring to your workplace. Avoid wearing, for the meantime, no? Avoid wearing jewelries and fashion accessories. Wearing earrings or necklaces or watches will make you touch these things often. No, avoid na lang sa okay. Most often, when you wear them, when you want to know what time it is, most likely you're going to touch your watch. And for the ladies, it's often that you check your earrings if they're still there, and your necklace as well. So another is use your mobile phone as clock. Use your phone as alarm clock to remind you to disinfect your hands as often as you can. Now, since it is advised that it is safe, that you have to wash or disinfect your hands as often as you can during the day when you are at work, you may consider using your phone as an alarm clock. During transit, even if you are riding a motorcycle as a back rider of your spouse or in your own car, be mindful of other vehicles like a multicab or a motorella, where a passenger may cough or sneeze towards your direction when the traffic stops in an intersection. No? Dili itong gadagan. No? When the vehicle stops in an intersection, be cautious with people in multicabs or in motorella. Okay, it's possible that they will try to avoid sneezing or coughing to the person in front of them. So they will cough outward, no? Facing the direction where your motorcycle is parked. So what's wrong with the car? No, it might be possible that the windows of your car is open. I mean, the passenger of a multicab or a motorella sneezes or coughs out, no? And the wind direction is headed towards your open window. When you reach Bukidnon State University, you may consider using our geolocation attendance so that you will not be exposed to other employees who are congregating at the biometrics. This is one of the best initiatives of the university to maintain distancing and no contact with other persons in the biometrics. Bring your own extra mask or pen, which is attached to a lanyard, or your own cups and tumblers, or forks, no? Or food containers, or your tissue paper or small towel. I would like to share with you some of the things that I keep in my pocket when I go mountain climbing or visit places or travel to other cities. This is a compressed towel. This is a freebie when you ride on a plane. See, the compressed towel that looks like a candy or a tablet now turns into a tissue paper or a towel that you can use to wipe your cell phones, your hands, or probably your hair, no, to disinfect it. Wonderful innovation. Outside the house, wear your mask properly. Do not just cover your mouth, no? Do not expose your nose. Do not expose your chin. Do not expose the entry points of your face. And of course, do not use hip-hop masks because air can freely move in and out of your nose and your mouth. So how do you wear your face mask? Remember, snug fit. The proper way to wear your mask is that wear your mask so it comes all the way up, closing to the bridge of your nose and all the way down under your chin. Keep it snug to your face. Let us check on the masks that are available online as well as those which are sold in the neighborhood. Let us check the fashion masks where it only provides 0 to 10% protection from the virus. You may look good, but you are not safe. Let's look at the other set. This set provides 95% protection from the virus. In fact, nowadays we are required to wear double mask. The first one on the left is an N95, then you have the surgical mask, and you have the FFP1 mask. So an unclothed mask with the logo of your organization, your club, or your fraternity do not provide any protection. Acrylic face shield does not protect your coworkers. I specifically highlighted the phrase, wear a mask to protect others. Others first and yourself. So if you wear an acrylic face shield, you are not actually protecting your coworkers. If you are compromised, you will infect them too. Wear the right protection. So you have there the face mask and the face shield. At Kasisang, there were people caught recycling surgical masks. Dapat when you dispose your mask, you tear it, untangle the straps para dili ma-recycle o ibaligya, balik sa dalan. No? Okay, you might notice there are surgical masks that are sold by street vendors which you are doubtful of its quality. One way to check if the masks are authentic is to do the water test. What is the water test? Pour water into the mask. So if the water flows through it, it's japik. Another is to blow the blow test. So if air passes through the mask, it's japik. So what are the authentic and the original medical grade masks? Those masks in which water and air cannot pass through. The power of sneezing or coughing. So let's be very cautious with people who are coughing from a distance. When someone sneezes or coughs, the aerosol will reach 29.5 feet. That's quite far. Now imagine the exit gate and the biometrics. That's not even 29, that's less than 29 feet. In addition to the wind direction, the smallest particles will reach you. Let's take, for example, somebody at the guard's location sneezes or coughs facing the direction of the biometrics. And you are there, complacent, not wearing a mask because you are alone and the guards are far from you. Considering the wind direction, you might be compromised with the traveling, the particles that fly with the wind. Another, those who love biking, it might be possible that your reasoning is, we maintain distance from the lead biker and with other bikers. Now, let's consider that it is a group biking where the lead biker is compromised. You might say, lagyo raman mi. But consider the heavy breathing of the lead biker or the one in front of you, plus the wind direction. The lead bike may contaminate everyone in the crowd. Keep your distance, no? But stay connected to people. Observe proper social distancing. No? This is your secondary protection aside from those which you wear, like the mask and the face shield. So at least 5 meters from a crowd. No? Another, stay away from each other. 6 feet. 6 feet distance is better than 6 feet below the ground. Now, maintain distance while standing in a line. We will going to have an activity today until Monday for PSA. So I hope you will observe the 3 feet or the 1 meter distance from each other. If you can pay online, use cashless transactions. If you are unsure of your safety, wear extra protection. Now, this is the basket of my spouse, no? Every time we go to the market, we bring this basket, but with the basket, there are gloves, no? We have all the protocols set in place, but there are so many immortals at the public market. Since we touch the meat, we touch the fish and the vegetables, it is wise to wear gloves at the market. Luckily, it became a habit of the family that every time we go to the market, the one who handles all the things that we buy there is wearing gloves. Keep hand sanitizers in your cars. No, keep it with you at all times. Disinfect your hands and other items that you always bring with you, your bags, your cell phones, your keychain, and the sole of your shoe. No, ang lapa-lapa sa sapatos. That's why it's necessary for you to step on the disinfection rod. Ano siya? Wear masks when you share ride with non-members of the household. It might be possible that there is a trouble and you are forced to ride a university vehicle with another person. Do not remove your mask. At all times, always wear your mask. Or simply do not share rides. No? It is still safe not to share rides with friends, colleagues, and relatives who are not living in if you do not live in the same house. If sharing vehicles cannot be avoided, like shuttles, no, used to ferry the education faculty to the Kasisang Annex, always remember not to do these things. No talking, no eating, and no taking phone calls while everyone is in transit. The heat of the sun can disinfect your car and other things. No? Let's consider other things that you place under the heat of the sun. If you will park your vehicle under the sun for 1 hour, in high temperature, the virus will be killed. No? At 150 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, it only takes about 5 minutes to kill the same percentage of virus, 99.99% of the virus. There's always that. In entering the workplace, do not compromise the safety of our workplaces by being complacent in following the protocols. Sadly, I can already observe vehicles getting in, not even disembarking from their vehicles, just to step on the disinfection rod. No, implement the face mask. No face mask, no entry. No, the temperature check or the QR code. No, these are very essential. First line of defense of the university. We learn from our experience that there are employees who lie about their health status. Even if they have fever, they report to the workplace, and at the end, they compromise everyone in their workplace. Kay hilana lagi maulian ra. Now, if we will follow our protocols on the wearing of masks and the checking of temperatures and being truthful in the QR code screening tool, this will enhance our protection in the workplace. Entering the workplace, step on the disinfectant rug. Disinfect the sole of the shoe, your hands after using the biometrics, or napay pakapin, gargle when you reach your office. Take time to gargle with mouthwash so that virus and bacteria that thrives in your mouth will be washed away No, if you do not have the gargle, if you don't have the mouthwash, you can use the lukewarm water with salt. And from there, you can change to your office uniform, your second set of clothes. Grabe yun siya ka kuti. Very meticulous, no? Just in case you have contaminated your clothes because you saw somebody while you walk to the office or to the school, you saw somebody sneezing or coughing, or there is somebody in the street who is not wearing a mask, and you pass by the person and you're afraid that your clothes might be contaminated, you may consider washing your hands, do personal grooming, change your clothes to office clothes. Before you start working, dedicate the first 5 minutes to disinfect your workstation. Mga stapler, scotch tape dispenser, and do not borrow or loan your office tools. This applies to all teachers, office personnel, utility personnel, students, and visitors. Bring your own pen. No sharing of ball pens. The virus can live on ball pens for 3 days. Now, even our janitors need a ball pen in signing documents, no, to write something on paper. So it's better if everyone will going to wear not just to bring not just one, but at least 2 pens. No, at least when you lose the one pen, you still have an extra. Disinfect office equipment. It might be possible that this is one of the things that we forgot or neglect in our office space. Make it a rule that anybody who uses an office equipment is required to disinfect all parts that is touched by human hands. The buttons, the sides, the surfaces. Always consider disinfecting the office equipment, the printer, the shredder, the photocopier, the coffee maker. If you have microwave oven, no, consider cleaning the surfaces. You may assign somebody to disinfect doorknobs, no, or door handles, or light switches, or the sofa for the visitors, no, kanang armrest niya. No, if there is an early bird in the office, you may consider asking the early bird to do the disinfection of the doorknob. These are oftentimes touched by persons in the office. Bring your own food and have your own utensils. No, if it saves money, it's very practical, economical. At the same time, it prevents you from using utensils, especially the spoons and the fork and the glass or cups in the cafeteria, in the canteen, or in the carinderia, where you buy or where you eat. Avoid eating together in one table, no? Because when you eat, your face mask is off. Most often, it cannot be avoided that you will start talking. Take note of the projectile of the aerosols from your mouth of the other person. Disinfect cellophanes, parcels, or packages, no, with alcohol. The guard is doing it for us every time we bring in our JNT parcels or LBC packages. Disinfect documents with UVC lights. Be very careful with fake sterilization gadgets sold online. It's necessary that when you buy sterilization boxes, ang marka daw is UVC, naagid ang letter C. So when you put those documents inside the UVC sterilization boxes, see to it that you turn every page. If there are several pages, each side or each page must be hit by the UVC light. That's the right way to disinfect documents. Dili lang kay you place 3 pages of document inside the box. Dapat yun, every page, every side is hit by the UVC light. When you prepare to go home, it's high time to prepare your third set. Grabe na gid no? Ikatulo mag-ilis in reporting to work. Change your street clothes again. Pwede ba to ibalik tong gaganina? To me, if you mean to protect yourself from the virus, you may consider using another set, no? And before you leave the office, you may consider visiting the comfort room. You do your thing first. No? You wash your hands. You take a leak. Okay? Especially when you travel to other places, you might be forced to do a stopover in the public toilets at the mercado. No? Ikahiyon na gyud, no? Better do that in the office before you leave, so that from the office, you go immediately to your home. When you arrive home, do not embrace your children or your spouse immediately. Disinfect muna. So how do you disinfect? No, you sanitize your footwear. If you have your own sanitation rug, no? Foot rug outside your house, you do it. You leave your shoes outside. Here is the proof. Sanitize your footwear before entering the workplace and before entering your home. It has been discovered that the coronavirus is able to survive on the cling to pavement and shoe surfaces for up to 9 hours. Take note, gabaklay ka lang from your home to your work, but you do not step on the disinfection rug. Or you might be using a public utility vehicle and a compromised person is eating a bubble gum and spits the bubble gum on the floor and it sticks on your shoe. Don't give the virus any chance to enter your home or your workplace. That's why it's necessary. No? Don't ever think na we do not have foot and mouth disease. No? So that's not only for the foot and mouth disease. No? Let's consider that it might be possible that you have stepped on spit on the pavement or anything that is contaminated with the virus, and the sole of your shoe have stepped on it. When you arrive home, take a bath before interacting with family. Hindi magkumpiyansa. If you believe that the workplace, the street, the vehicle where you rode are unsafe, consider taking a bath before interacting with the family. Do you do this at home? Grabe na ganyan mong pag-protect daw with all the clothes, with all the disinfection, the chemical, the things that you do. But when you reach home, you let your guards down. The outer side touches your face. Now, ang tanong, saan di paghubo, sir? Now, use your imagination. No? See to it that the outer side of the clothes will never touch the surface of your face. No? Advantage yun ang polo. No? If you are wearing a uniform and it's a polo, most likely the outer side of the clothes or the polo will not touch the surface of your face. Again, complacency kills. I have here a sample. No? I have seen this in one of our colleagues in BukSU. He felt very hot, and so this is what he did. Singot kay ko. Boom! That's what I meant, no? Singot kay ko. Use the sleeves of the clothes, the outer part of the clothes, in wiping your face, in wiping the sweat. And take note, the virus, once it's fixed to the cloth, it stays for 2 days. Another is when you arrive home, consider brushing your teeth or gargling with mouthwash. Or probably, if you don't have the mouthwash, again, pwede na tong lukewarm water with salt. All the things that you bring home, no, mga grocery goods, wet goods from the market, medicine, keys, phones, laptop, handbag, office-related work, no, consider wiping them with water diluted in sunrocks. Ayaw spray in tawon ang laptop. You can wipe the keyboard, all those parts which are touched by your hand. Another, do not become an automatic chemist. Do not mix these cleaning products. No? Do not mix the bleach and vinegar because it would produce chlorine gas. Do not mix bleach and ammonia because it will produce a toxic gas called chloramine. Do not mix bleach and rubbing alcohol. Muna na itong chloroform, no? And hydrogen peroxide and vinegar. The combination is highly corrosive. No, if you are not sure what mixture or how to mix these chemicals, I would like to introduce the BukSU chemist, Ma'am Jennifer P. Barroso. She helped us in producing alcohol during the early days of COVID last year. You can ask Ma'am Jenny, what are those things that you can mix that can be used as disinfectant? Will you know if someone smoked or lit a cigarette inside the room? Yes, of course, because the smell of the odor of the cigarette will linger. Now, what do you do to clean the air inside the room? Normally, you open the window, right? And sometimes you fan with a piece of paper. Look at this. How does ventilation help disinfect the room? You have there an electric fan pointing towards the open door. And this is what we normally do. No, we turn on the electric fan, we open the doors and the windows so that odor of the cigarette is replaced with fresh air. Now, similar to what you see at the bottom, where windows are open, the fresh air gets in, and the odor of the cigarette flows out of the room. This is the same thing, no? The same imagination. Let's imagine if, no, dili man siya, no? So let's imagine if the virus is like that. Now, one way to clean, to disinfect the room is to let fresh air get inside the room, no? You can turn on the electric fan and point it towards the door so that the air, the viral load in the environment, no, will be blown out and will be replaced with fresh air or new air. Here is a comparison of a poorly ventilated room and a well-ventilated room. In a poor ventilation, in poor ventilation with no open windows, no fans, no portable air cleaner, after an hour, there are still residues, there are still bacteria, germs, and viruses inside the room after 1 hour. But in a well-ventilated room with open windows, ceiling fans, window exhaust, fan blowing air outside, portable air cleaner. Wala ng portable, no, that's quite expensive. If you had an electric fan, now if you look at it after 1 hour, the room is clean. Now imagine, what if at 4 p.m., everyone will going to disinfect the room. Now, you look at the last picture at the right, no, the ideal ventilation. What if at 4 o'clock you will going to open the doors and windows of your office and let the fan blow out the stale air inside? Mapulihan siya, no? Even if somebody coughs inside the room, the germs or the bacteria or the virus will be blown out of the room. No? You turn on your aircon for 20 minutes, then open the door, mag-replace ang air. That's one way of disinfecting our offices, no? At 4 o'clock. I'm going to show you a series of pictures. I'm not going to explain much. So there is no study that proves that dogs carry viruses, especially coronavirus, but let me show you a series of pictures. Dogs. You, owner of the dog, step on a bubble gum chewed by a compromised person, and the virus sticks to your shoe. The shoe is licked by the dog because your shoe was brought inside the house, and the dog plays with your child. Or the same series of pictures. You step on something on the pavement, which is chewed by an asymptomatic. Your younger brother or your younger sisters play on your floor, like every typical Filipino, no? We let our children play on the floor, but you, unfortunately, brought your shoe inside the house. So the virus is there, and your child, when they play, they put their toe and their fingers into their mouth. Basically, the things that I have shown you for almost an hour is a product of common sense. These are doable by all members of the family. And these are easy to follow by children. No? If you have learned something from this, you can echo this to your children because this is very easy to follow. And these are practical things we do to protect ourselves and others at home and in the workplace. My job is done, ladies and gentlemen. These are some of the practical things that we can do to protect our homes and our offices from the virus. Let me end my presentation with the malasakit initiatives of the student volunteers under the DRRM unit.
Tanging ikaw ang inaasam, nalulutas nitong kahirapan. Sagad sa buto ang hirap sa mundo, sagana na buhay parang bulang naglaho. Ayoko na sanang damhin itong gulo, ngunit papano ang susunod na tubo? Duwag na yata ang takbo ng isip ko, maibibigkas lamang dito sa awitin ko. Bakit ganyan ang ikot ng mundo? Baligtad na lahat ang pag-iisip ng tao. Sinirawi na sa lahat ng pag-aari mo.
That ends my presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Salamat tungkay. This is Rondel Paraiso, your DRRM focal person.